Hello, beautiful human. If I don't know you, my name's Dan Kalapski. And what I'm going to do in this session here is I'm going to walk you through a step by step process on creating a vision for your 2026 and not just 2026, but your 5 year, 10-year vision and everything that trickles down to what you're going to do today. Now, this process, I'm not only going to share the step by step process, but I'm also going to share with you what my vision is. I've just spent 90 minutes or so filling it out myself and getting super crystal clear on what that vision is for myself. So I'll be sharing all of that with you. And so this visioning system that I'm sharing with you is an amalgamation of all of the vision, values, mission statement, goals, and intentions work that I've done over the last 15, 20 years. I've spent over 250K on coaching. And my first coach was actually when I was 16 years old. Now, it wasn't me paying for the coaching back then, it was my parents. But this coach was actually my football coach, and he was involved in the national team setup, and he was doing one-to-one coaching with me for football, for soccer. However, everything that I had learnt from him was all in the realm of psychology, all in the realm of mindset that I could apply fully and directly to life itself. And one of the biggest lessons and pieces that he had offered up to me since then, or had offered up to me then, was what you focus on expands. And so I was there, 16-year-old kid, playing a game. I didn't even know him at this point in time. And he was watching me from the sidelines, and I'd managed to do a pretty bad pass. And then that bad pass turned into some more bad passes. I was pretty judgmental and had a fair bit of anger on myself as well. And that then led to him coming up to me after the game and asking, "How do you think that game went?" And I was like, "Oh, it wasn't so great. It was pretty horrible." And it was like, kind of started with that bad pass. And I said, "Yeah, it was all because of that bad pass that I had actually had this crappy game." And what he had shared there was that it wasn't actually because of that bad pass. It was what I was focusing on after that bad pass. I was like, "What are you talking about?" "I'm 16 years old here. Can you explain a little more?" It's like, "Well, what you focus on expands. You know? When you did that bad pass, what did you focus on from that bad pass?" And I was like, "Well, how horrible it is, of course." He was like, "Okay, did you spend any time thinking about how that pass could have gone if you had executed it correctly?" It's like, "No." And so what we focus on expands no matter how small or how big it is. So I focused on how bad that pass was. And so the next pass that came for me to execute wasn't great because all I was focusing on was the bad elements of that pass. And then the next pass was the same. And that pass upon pass upon pass upon entire game turned into a not great game as a result of that one pass. And so I've carried that with me throughout life. And I think this visioning system is incredibly potent and powerful in creating and crafting out clarity for the next 12 months, but also the next 5 to 10 years without holding on to it too tightly, but simply creating that plan, knowing that it never pans out exactly as we've created it, but as a signpost, it's incredibly powerful. Don't clench onto it too tightly. Be ready to shift, to pivot, and hold it loosely in the hand and sense and respond to what's arising, what's working, what's not working, and continue to adapt along the way. So I'm going to take you through this now. Okay. Cool. So we've got the visioning system here. And as I said, this is an amalgamation of all of the systems I've received from all of my coaches, including my most recent coach, Matt Gray from Founder OS and his team, particularly Sean, my founder success manager. So here's a word from me. You can take some time. If you want a copy of this, decide once we're done running through this, then send me a DM. The info will be in the post itself, and I will send you a direct copy to this. Now, a vision, an aspirational statement that describes your company's goals for the future and the impact it aims to make on the world. And that's all well and good. And in the name, you've got vision, meaning can you see it? However, seeing it is one thing, whether it's an elite athlete or anyone else that wants to apply this to their day to day life. It's not just about seeing it. Can you feel it? Can you experience the state that you would be in when you are living the vision that is arising in mind? Right. So, this process is going to go a massive way to actually have that come alive for you. So, the first piece, you've got personal values and your mission statement. Now, take some time with this. And if you don't have the perfect answer coming up immediately, just get something down and you can return to it. It's often really useful to return to it a day later or 3 days later. Let it sit, let it simmer, and come back to it. Cool. So, my personal values, uh, you could say in a particular order, but not necessarily. I've got my top four here. So, health, super, super important too. Business and service, and business as service. For me, it's really important. One of a refined definition of freedom for me has been that I love what I do and I love how I'm spending my time. So for others, whether it's the work that you're doing or however else you're spending your time in life, just making sure that you are spending as much of that time possible doing what excites you, what you love doing. Yeah. And letting it be of high value and of service to the people in front of you. Now, that's naturally going to happen if you simply allow your natural gifts and genius to start to come through, and any patterns that are in the way as distractions from that to start to fall away, or at least start to see them so that you can see the patterns for what they are and really allowing you to come through more fully. And I got relationships that's both romantic, but at this point in time, uh, what's really important to me is my little, um, what do you want to call it? My little cocoon of humans around me that I have, a small number of humans, and they're all incredibly amazing humans, and just nurturing those relationships on a regular basis and allowing playfulness to come through. And then all of the above, so health, business, and service and relationships, being driven by beauty, love, and joy. And these qualities of being, so beauty for me is the fabric of the universe. And particularly for a human being, it feels like if I can bring myself to see the beauty in everything I see, but even every situation that I'm in, and see the possibility in that and the opportunity in that, um, whether there's pain involved or whether there's joy involved, seeing the possibility and opportunity in that. And beauty is this gateway into love. I feel like beauty is more accessible than love, and love being the natural state of what we are, and letting that joy come through, and really choosing to do as many things in my life that are bringing that through, from the people that I'm spending time with to the projects and offerings that I'm creating or that I'm engaging with, and whatever I'm doing on the weekend, and however I'm spending my time, whether it's on the couch, what am I doing there on the couch, or how am I spending my time, outside of work as well. So allowing all of those things to bring joy. Okay. So this next slide, you've got, who are you becoming this year? Now, I want to speak to this first line here. Who are you becoming this year? Now, you already are completely whole. On one plane of reality, I already am completely whole. Yeah. Now, the work in this time as a human being is to see all of the parts of mind that have us believe that we are anything less than the magnificence and truth of what we already are. That's the work of us, for us here as human beings. Meaning, who are you becoming is simultaneously a process of unbecoming. Unbecoming the limiting beliefs, or the who we should have been as we were growing up, or who we shouldn't be, and us being told that as we were growing up. So, really allowing those to soften and fall away, to allow the immense power of you to start to come through, is actually the most amazing gift that this world requires. So, who are you becoming? I like to answer this in the form of roles. What are the roles that I'm playing, the behaviors that are arising, and so on. And so this year, already an entrepreneur, but an entrepreneur delivering high value, bold offerings, having achieved high audience growth and a brand/work recognition, all driven by love, passion, and beauty. So essentially, as I move into this personal brand piece and really allow, I guess, my flavor to come through in this inner work, really allowing that to come through so that it reaches the people that it's going to benefit most is everything that drives me. Um, and to achieve this, there's three core non-negotiables. And so I want you to consider what your non-negotiables would be to allow you to come through in and as that vision for yourself and how you're going to show up in the year. So for me, I've got first non-negotiable that's going to drive everything is a real deep refinement on my morning routine. So I'm actually going to protect my sleep like there's no tomorrow, realizing that that is the driver for everything. And so my morning flow and evening flow, essentially, my morning starts the night before. So if I'm protecting my sleep and I'm focusing on my morning flow, which is 4 to 5 hours worth of work from 8 to 12 or 1 p.m., if I can get all of my work done in that window and then additional admin stuff on top, that'd be amazing. For that to happen, I need to really allow my morning to be clean and clear and light, and not having any distractions. And then needing to have, if we keep moving backwards, needing to have an incredible or a decent night's sleep. And then how am I what am I doing in the lead up to my sleep that allows me to have that sleep? So it really starts there. And so a morning flow and evening flow, including a 4 hour morning deep flow block, which is what I've just mentioned. So I'll move into that. Then there's a non negotiable too. Content and systems. Essentially, content and systems are my way outside of retreats and workshops and breathwork sessions to have people get to know about this work. So I need to be able to do this. I was allergic to content for about 15 years of running business. Just really had an aversion to it and hated content for the sake of creating content. However, I've been able to find a driver that makes it a whole heap easier for me. And that's massive thanks to Founder OS and Matt Gray, allowing me to link my content to my value system, but also finding a system for the content that has it feel authentic, true, natural, and of high value for everyone that I'm looking to receive this, whoever's going to benefit from it. So the non-negotiable number three is fast and clear decision making. My personality type, based on the Enneagram, loves options, whether it's a Netflix clip, whether it's a food menu. FOMO is a massive thing. Fear of missing out, needing to assess all options, which can be really useful, but needing to assess all options to the degree that it feels as though I need to make the right decision, not the most right decision, but the one and only right decision, which actually doesn't exist. And so I'm really focusing on clear and bold and fast decisions that can still be informed, but much quicker. So refining that process for myself. And so it can be really useful to have a look at what are your North Star words? Yeah, what are 3, 4 words? You can call them mantras, you can call them pieces, reminders that when they come up or when you take a look at them in your journal, you know what they mean for you and they bring you back to the clarity of your vision. And so for me, I've got calm and bold, making big decisions, but remaining calm and not chaotic, and momentum and decisiveness. And the decisiveness is actually going to allow for a continued momentum and then staying calm in the middle of all of that. And I really like combining bold momentum together as well. Momentum's also not about doing something big and then like whittling away, but actually knowing that I'm not arriving anywhere, that this work is something that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. And so it's about remaining consistent with riding the ebb and flow and different phases and seasons, but staying consistent and showing up nonetheless. And then strengthening from a position of strength. This is a big one for me, mainly because throughout most of my life, I've always backed myself to be able to get, to take the biggest leap. And if I was to fall down the biggest sort of canyon or hole or whatever it might be, I backed myself to come out of that, to pick myself back up and go again. And that's really useful. However, when that becomes a crutch and I just rely on depletion, like I allow myself and areas of my life to come to depletion, not everywhere, right? We're talking, there's nuance here, to depletion or close to before I start to pick back up again. That's something that I'm looking to eliminate. And so instead, I'm looking to strengthen from a position of strength and then strengthen again from a position of strength and let that momentum build. And then why does all of this matter? Well, essentially to unlock positive impact potential of 100 high level leaders and entrepreneurs by having them reconnect and live from their truest state. So this is why I am doing all of this work, which is to unlock the positive impact potential of leaders and founders. And leaders and founders have and entrepreneurs have an incredible way of viewing the world through possibility and opportunity. And they hold quite a superpower in that sense. And just really, I believe that they are at their most impactful and powerful when they are connected to themselves and look at what may have been achieved with that connection maybe not being as strong as it could be. And so that's really my drive there and lever to have this positive impact on the world. And the work that I do, fortunately, is able to support leaders and founders with that. So each of these on this page equals a trust in the process that is anchored in alignment with inner state. Don't need to have it all figured out. Basic trust in the moment, be guided by quality, joy, and beauty. So essentially, whether it's calm and bold or clear decision making and fast decision making, I don't need to have it all figured out. Yeah. I can trust enough that let's make this decision here and move. And now that's already something that's alive within me, but I'm looking to refine and deepen that. Yeah, I'm looking to have that become even more potent. And that just requires a deepening, as this entire inner work process is. It's always a spiral. We're working on similar things and we come back around to another theme, but at a much greater depth now. So, yeah, and just allowing all of that to be guided and powered by quality, joy, and beauty. Okay, so 10-year vision, marking down your 10-year vision and 5-year goal. As I mentioned, you're not going to get to the 10-year mark and it's going to look exactly like this. There will be elements that'll be similar, but we're using this as a signpost, yeah, to reach out as far as we can see. And some of the biggest, this isn't the most important piece, but it is important. Some of the biggest companies, hate them or love them, Facebook, for example, don't, or last I read, they don't do any visioning beyond 6 months because everything is moving so quickly. They vision for 6 months and that's it. They may have, I think they do a 6 month and a 20-year vision, something like that, right? So, same premise here, creating your 10-year vision and 5-year goal. 10-year vision here to significantly impact the spiritual health and well-being of 10,000 of the world's top leaders, founders, and entrepreneurs by 2036 in 10 years' time. Now, just remembering a line that Steve Jobs had actually said that I'm pretty sure it was Steve Jobs, and I'm paraphrasing, that we often overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can do in 10. So I tried to nudge myself here, but let's see if it's big enough. Landmark 2 impacted 1 million leaders, founders, and entrepreneurs. Little different to the first one there. The first one is deeply impacting with in close proximity with these leaders in different ways. And the 1 million leaders might be through some of the content and so on and so on. Landmark 3, build a home and community retreat space in the Northern Rivers in the Byron Shire here in Australia, and also a worldwide network of spaces where where iconic work can be done in iconic places and spaces. So essentially, that I might even either build that myself or partner up with someone in creating something like that, or someone that's sharing a similar vision. Landmark 4, offering a grounded and effective approach to spiritual, mental, and nervous system health. That includes an Australian first network or partnering with one for the successful entrepreneur that understands their health is foundational to the sustainable success of their business, relationships, and life. And so, this piece here really allowing a community of leaders and founders coming together that actually are realizing that their physical, emotional, mental, relational, spiritual health is also important for them, for the world to fully receive all of their gifts. And so much can be achieved, by propping and going, not really attending to all of those. But imagine if you attend to all of those, and yeah, there's a waking up that's occurring, and it's really beautiful to watch. And when those people come together in the same space and they've chosen to be in that retreat space, that is the one thing they all have in common, that each of them are showing a readiness and a willingness to go deep, to look at their parts, to look at themselves in a way where they get to unleash and unshackle themselves and move forward in life in a really powerful way, and actually become the father, the partner, the friend that they know that they can be, that they have within themselves. 5-year goal. Goal 1, community of 100 members of leaders and entrepreneurs committed to their health and well-being as part of it all, and that drives everything that they're doing in life. Plus a high-level founder and well-being mastermind in 2026. That's an offering that's brewing. And goal 3 is a thriving FBR, facilitated breath repatterning, breathwork uh, community and breathwork Byron community along the east coast of Australia and all of Australia. And actually, I want this technique, I believe in it so much, I want this technique to thrive all around the world with currently just 100 plus practitioners. This is an incredibly potent community already as it stands. And so, yeah, really championing that and supporting that. And yeah, looking forward to that journey. And goal 4, just wanting also to put a mention out to the whole team, Breathwork Bali, Breathwork Singapore, Stephen, Edward, and everyone else that's involved, and Sarah here with Breathwork Byron, and the entire team of practitioners that FBR has here in Australia. Goal 4, family home, plus a loving relationship and kids. And yeah, I mean, the family home, I'm loving where I'm living right now. Absolutely loving where I'm living. It's perfect for my how I thrive in life, and my environment is incredibly important to me. And having this vantage point of being able to see the ocean, being able to see the hinterland, and being immersed in nature is incredible. So I am so grateful for that already, and envisioning a home like this with a future partner of mine, wherever you are, and some beautiful little rugrats running around. Okay, so moving on to this piece here. So you can put all of those goals and intentions out there. Yeah, that's one thing. Placing that on paper. Now, going through this step by step, given your vision and your goals, what would they mean for you in your life? If they were to happen, you need to connect to why this is actually important to you. If they were to happen, what would that mean for you in your life? What would that mean for your life? And when you write that down, start to repeat the question, and why is that important to you? And why is that important to you? Yeah. As an example, if one of your goals and visions is uh, to let's just say have a successful business, why is that important? Well, that gives you a sense of fulfillment. Why is that important? Well, that has you then show up as a better human. Why is that important? Well, that then amplifies my connection with my partner and my children. Why is that important? Because that really starts to fulfill the broader purpose of my life. And so all of a sudden, your business is intricately and directly linked to something as deep and profound as you being of service as a partner and a father or a mother. And that then means that ease can come about in our work rather than needing any motivation. It's just an innate drive that comes from deep within. Yeah. So, really important to connect with these pieces here. And so, given your vision and goal, oh, this is my version. Yep. Thank you. So, I kind of already shared that. First one is genuine fulfillment. Given what I've just shared with you, for me, like I said earlier, that kind of means freedom. Yeah. For me to I consider myself incredibly fortunate and have also worked for it uh, to be doing what I love to do as a full-time gig uh, in this lifetime is freedom for me. For me to be spending time working and loving it is freedom for me. And so it would be incredibly fulfilling to be able to, be in my genius, in my work, and to be able to be of service, providing immense value for others in the best possible way that I know how. And so this essentially would then have me like that expansion of fulfillment would allow me to live the full spectrum of life, yeah, in the way that I'm showing up for the people around me, with the people around me, and for myself, and so on and so on. And that would allow me to fulfill my roles in this life with ease and connection, as the father, the partner, the brother, the son, the leader, the mentor, the friend. And so essentially, all of that, really broadly, is me achieving my purpose as a human being to simply be and live and create unapologetically from there, from that state of being that feels effortless, even if there's a certain challenge. Meeting that challenge, there's a layer of ease around that. And yeah, to simply be and to show up as the being that I am. So yeah, I think I spoke in my last video, if you haven't watched it, around my reflections and raw and honest edits and non-edits of 2026 and lessons from there and how we have a universal purpose. So check that one out. Now, somatic visioning. This is the big piece because we can be led astray if we're talking about something like visioning. Yeah, doing your vision piece, doing your vision process. Oh, I can see it. I can see it. That in and of itself is huge and necessary. You can see it. Okay. But it's insufficient alone. And there's neuroscience behind this, which I'll do a separate YouTube video on. But essentially, you have your visual part of the brain that's linking up with the limbic, the feeling, the emotional part of the brain. When those two cross over, when you start to see it and feel it in that state, then all of a sudden you immediately start to wire neurons together and they start firing together before actually having done any of it. And so your brain structurally starts to look like the brain of someone that is making the decisions that the person who has brought all of that and created all of that in their life would need to be making. And so your brain can already start to look like one of that person simply by combining feeling and seeing. Yep. So it's not just some woo woo, let's just like get into our bodies and start feeling. That's great. It's useful. However, there's a neuroscience to it as well. It's a somatic visioning. Taking a moment to really close down your eyes and see what is in your environment when that vision is playing out, when that business is functioning and operating at the level that you want it to be, the humans that are in it, who can you see? What does the building look like? What does the environment look like? How is the team spending their days? Where are they spending their days doing their work or parts of the year? Really allowing that to come through. And then you move into what can you feel? So as you then you can see all of that, what's the feeling in your body? And not just what is the feeling, from using sensory based descriptors. So rather than it feels good, well, what does good feel like in the body? It feels light, it feels expansive, it feels, yeah, there's a warmth. You want to mention those descriptors along with where in the body is that being experienced. And then that's that state. If you could use one word to describe that overall state. What is that? And anchor that in. The word's one thing, but anchor that state, that feeling in. Yeah. And live from there. You can already connect from there while still being present in how you're showing up in the world from this state, living from that state here. Yeah. Not bypass. I'll do a separate video if someone that starts to think that this is bypassing or disassociating. None of that. Yeah. Not into that. So, what can you hear? So, really using all of our human senses, or as many of them as possible, to paint that picture. What can you see? What can you feel? What can you hear? Yeah. And what can you smell? This one's can be a strange one, but can you smell fresh grass or the trees around you, or can you smell a whiteboard marker as you're doing a team meeting at a retreat, team retreat, and you guys are creating a big, big process and vision, and you can smell the incredible food by the caterer that's been created. Might be Balinese food because you might be in Bali, and you can smell the ocean spray. I've just taken myself to a retreat venue we might be working with in November. It'll be quite special. Okay, so going through that, getting really clear on that, and connecting with that on a day-to-day basis. Then we want to start to really trickle this down. It's almost like a waterfall, a cascade, where you've had your 10-year, your 5-year, your 12-month, which is what we're doing here, 90 days, 3 months, and then we'll continue moving from there, 1 month, 1 week, and today. I think I might just throw the today part in. So 1 year, 90 days, and the opportunities. This is important, yeah, because seek and you shall find, yeah. If you're seeking issues and problems, then you'll definitely find those, 100%. You'll find those. If you're seeking opportunity, possibility, if you're seeking problems so that you can find solutions and go into a solution finding mindset, that's what you're going to find. Yeah. And so, what are the opportunities? And if you find these, there's so much information coming in at us, your system is going to be able to filter out these opportunities in life. This is, more or less, manifestation. There is the metaphysical explanation of manifestation, but also simply allowing your brain to screen for that which you're looking to expand. What you're focusing on, you expand. So you list these here, and then that's a little message to a part of your brain that is then going to go on search for those unconsciously throughout your days, in conversations, in meetings, and whatever else is playing out for you. So things like opportunities to hire people, to train people, creating a process for something, opportunity to launch something or to build something or to create something, or anything else that you need to create a process for. So a 1 year plan, serving approximately in close proximity. That means like close, intimate containers, serving approximately 60 online community members that have also done the in person, launching the deep dive recalibration chamber. So more on that. Keep an ear out for that. And 2 deep dive conscious leadership retreats. Yeah, I'm really excited for the deep dive recalibration chamber. I continue to hone in on what the needs are for leaders, founders, and entrepreneurs, and how what I'm doing can best serve that. So, yeah, really excited by that piece. And there's a real cross section of incredibly deep work from a psychosomatic spiritual point of view, and also having science back that. So more coming there. 90-day plan. So the question you want to ask yourself in this process, if you've got the 1 year plan and that's what you've got there, if you've got the 10-year plan and you're looking at the 5, and then the 5, you're looking at the 1, for the 1 year to happen, what would need to happen across the next 3 months? And for the 3-month pieces to happen, what would need to happen in the next month? And for the 1 month to happen, what would need to happen across the next week? And for the next week to happen, what would need to happen today? What's one thing I can do today? And those things shift, change, but having them in place creates a smoother runway rather than creating all of this decision making at every point. You already have a framework to run through. So, a 90-day plan here for me is to establish or have very well established content flywheel, email, YouTube, IG, LinkedIn, that all feels super natural, organic, and authentic and genuine. Then serving 2 additional intakes of online groups. And that's actually not happening in the next 90 days. So we can put that aside. I'm doing something else there. And amplify high value continuation opportunity. Yeah, so really amplifying our existing continuation opportunity and expansion process there with our clients. And then opportunities is to build an AI task based team. So, not necessarily getting rid of humans, but having humans uh, build and work with AI so that we can amplify what we're doing and how quickly we're having the impact that we're having, and also allowing for time of slowness when that's necessary. High value community support and content management and delivery team is a place that we might hire for. And then launching and building the deep dive recalibration chamber. And that's an intimate, powerful in person piece there. And a real epic way to shift your health and the way that you are living life. And then refined retreat delivery, which is similar to that, plus new model and content creation and delivery. So these are the focuses there. Then for your monthly plan, again, for that 3 months to happen, what needs to happen? I'll be reaching out and inviting the 2026 members for some of those offerings, communicate the content process to the internal team, and confirm retreat partners for 2 big retreats that we've got this year, and launch Embodied Science of Breath, first one for the year. That's our signature program stemming from Breathwork Bali there. That we'll be running here in Australia for the 3rd time round now. And then weekly plan, high value email series, confirming those ESB dates. So this is what can I do in the next week, right? Set up the AI task-based team and just start executing on that. So getting close to the end here. However, the end here is just as important as the very beginning, and really coming into a healthy completion of this cycle, of this visioning cycle and process. So energy blocks, really important, just so I don't have to think about this on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. When am I doing what work? It can shift and change, but sticking to it for the main part. Yeah. So deep work. When am I doing that? Let's run through it here. Deep work will happen in the mornings from 8 until 12 or 1, looking to get about 4 hours of undistracted work. And that includes, I could be undistracted and could actually be at the laptop, but not getting distracted by various tabs and whatever else. So eliminating all distraction. And yeah, I'll speak to what's going to help me with that there as well. Creative work, YouTube plus content, this happening 1 week per month, and recording four vids in 2 days if possible, so that the content is relevant and applicable for people. Admin work, I'm actually gunning for 100 videos, getting 1% better at each video, so that there's 1% more value in each video or more each time. So yeah, love, subscribe and follow, or whatever the piece is there for YouTube. Admin work, create system and delegate. On Wednesdays, 1 to 3, I'm creating any systems necessary to delegate. Any work that anyone else could do, I'm passing on. Keystone habits, list top 3 to 5 daily actions that drive all others. Yeah. So you don't have to list 5, but 3 to 5 key habits that are actually going to be the drivers for everything else. If you do those things, it's going to amplify your potentiality in everything else you'll be doing and the flow of all of it. So for me, habit one is really morning flow. Let's just go from there. So morning flow, 4:55 a.m. wake up. Why? Because that allows me to meditate for 20 minutes before the sun's actually come up. Then I come out, get everything ready for tea, and I'm sitting with tea for 30 to 60 minutes in the morning, which is a few cups of ceremonial tea as the sun is rising and I'm getting first light. And that's just really healthy for my circadian rhythm and for sleep later on in the day, and puts my system into a really beautiful rhythm. And then after tea, I head out to the gym. After gym, sauna, and then I come back and start work at 8. So a decent morning flow there. And then I'm working from 8, as I've mentioned, till 12. So that's my, have I got that here somewhere? Yeah, that's my morning flow essentially, my morning workflow. So from 8 till 12 or 1 o'clock, getting as much as I can done in terms of deep work and creative work. Habit 2, evening flow, dinner at 5 to 5:30. Why? Because it's really it's much better for your overall system, digestive system, for the connection between the gut and the brain and the gut brain axis, for food to have been well digested by the time you're going to sleep, so that all the systems required during sleep can actually do their thing and not be distracted by digesting food. And so it's roughly about 4 hours before heading to bed. So 9:30 for me. No screen time. It's a new thing that I'm bringing in. No screens from 8 p.m. and reading 10 pages in that period between 8 to 9:30, and meditating for 20 minutes in bed by 9. Last thing I'm doing is book in hand and making it a real book rather than all of the other. I'm not anti-Kindle, I've got one myself, but not so important. Habit 3, reflect and plan. This will be huge, yeah, to continue to allow me to be in this rhythm and most actual real time rhythm, rather than something that I set from 6 months ago and it's just not so applicable now. And so on a monthly basis, the last Sunday of every month, I'm looking, reflecting back at the month, what's been done, what hasn't, what needs to be done, and what can be done better. What am I amplifying and bringing that into the following month? And what is the 20% that's going to shift the needle 80%? Then every week on a Sunday, doing the same, looking back at the week, looking forward at the week, and applying the thing, focusing on the 20% that's going to shift the needle the most. And then the next day, so always planning the day before, as soon as I finish work and everything's really fresh as to what I've been working on and what's next, then planning that out. And it literally takes 3 to 5 minutes of me jotting that down and actually using a pen and paper to write that down, because there's something powerful in terms of that connection, that bodily somatic connection, with how that then enters the unconscious mind. And then habit 4, precise yet fast and decisive, is what that momentum piece that we were talking about. So on a micro level, if there's some editing happening, or there's a certain way I'm wanting something, making those decisions too quick and not laboring on those, but also maintaining quality. On a macro level, whether that be like an event, a retreat, an offer launch, planning, also not laboring on it, but maintaining the quality and moving quickly in that decision making so that we can allow momentum to move. And then habit 5, super important, brings the relationships in, play and social, and allowing spaces for that. Even though a big chunk of my week will be sleep and work and gym and sauna and super healthy in that sense, relational piece and connection piece and community piece it comes prior to all of that. So in terms of the weight that it holds, and so it's necessary. That is necessary in a big, big way. And it sounds silly even repeating it, but yeah, intentionally bringing that in and curating possibilities and times and opportunities for that to happen, with some of the incredible humans that I know here. So I will be together in deep work, rest, and play. I will be putting on a 90-minute session to run through this and to support and guide people. So we'll all jump onto the call. It's going to be complimentary and free, jumping onto the call. And I'm just there to support you going through it. If you have any questions, bring your coffee, bring whatever you drink you want, to give yourself this space, this time to be able to create and crystallize this vision for yourself for the upcoming 12 months, 5 years, 10 years, and allow this to be a part of your annual ritual that you bring in, and really allowing it to amplify your work. So again, together in deep work, rest, and play. Thank you. Bye.